Hey Hoopheads! Brad here with another breakdown, and today I want to talk about the Raptors defense in their 100-83 win over the Knicks. Pascal sat this game out for disciplinary reasons, but the team stepped up, led by 25 points from Fred VanVleet and holding the Knicks to an abysmal 3 for 36 3-point shooting. Let's get into it. On this play, you see Lowry go under the Robinson screen to cut off Barrett, and then as Barrett and Randall work a little two-man game, Lowry switches onto Randall, but as Barrett cuts through, you see OG just hang around, and he comes up with kind of a soft double team, and that eventually leaves Barrett open on the near side for a three, but he's shooting about 30% from downtown for his career, and the Raptors really exploited the Knicks' relative lack of shooting in this game, loading up to Julius Randle with double teams, not on every play, but fairly frequently, and leaving other guys open from downtown and daring them to make shots. But the Knicks tend to play multiple non-shooters at once. Robinson, Barrett, Randall, and Payton all shoot 30% or worse from downtown for their careers, and even guys like Knox and Austin Rivers are only in the low to mid 30s, so there's pretty limited downside to leaving them open beyond the arc. And it played out even better than the Raptors could have hoped, with the Knicks, as I mentioned, shooting below 10% from downtown on 36 attempts. Here, early in the possession, Randall comes to screen Norm, but watch the way Powell makes sure to get his inside shoulder and foot up over the pick so he doesn't get hung up on it, and that allows him to quickly get back into the play and deflect the pass to Randall on the roll. A really great effort there from Norm. And then about a minute later, a great aggressive play from him as Payton catches the ball and Norm steps up toward him instead of waiting for him to make a move, and it seems to catch Payton off guard as Norm just reaches in and ties him up for the jump ball. Norm won the jump ball as well. And now I want to talk about Boucher on the interior. As Payton rejects the screen and drives, you can see Boucher drop down a bit, while on the weak side, OG is going to lose track of Randall, who cuts back door. The pass gets through, but a great recovery by Boucher to turn and use his length to block the shot, and then bother Robinson's putback attempt as well. Really solid stuff from Boucher on the interior. And here again, we see Payton rejecting the screen to drive at Boucher, and now Boucher has to try to cut off the drive and prevent the lob to Robinson at the same time, and he plays it pretty well. As Payton gets inside, even though Boucher bites on the pump fake, he jumps straight up and down instead of jumping into Payton and fouling him, and the Raptors get the stop. And then another similar one here, except this time instead of shooting, Payton elects to try to throw the lob, but because of Boucher's positioning and length and a little help from Norm on the weak side, he's able to break it up, and it's another stop for the Raptors. And with the departure of Gasol and Ibaka, the interior defense of Toronto's bigs has been one of the weaker spots in the defense in my opinion, as Baines and Len are still learning the Raptors system and frankly just aren't on the same level as Serge and Mark, so it's nice to see some growth from Boucher and see him able to give the Raptors some quality minutes at that position. Of course, Boucher's not perfect either. On this play, as Barrett gets a step on Watanabe, he's able to power straight through Boucher, obviously not the strongest guy in the world. And on this play, as the three goes up, he has inside position for the rebound, but Mitchell Robinson just seals him in there to scoop up the rebound and put it back in. But all things considered, I thought this was a solid game from Boucher. Now in transition, you can see Lowry's already back, and you probably know where this one is going, as he takes it right on the numbers to draw the charge from the much bigger Julius Randle. Lowry, the master, making a sacrifice to get the stop. And then here, a quick three for Barrett early in the shot clock. Doesn't go, but the Knicks able to come up with the offensive board. And then as Randall gets it and starts to drive on Johnson, you see he doesn't really have a good sight line to Fred here, so VanVleet comes with a hard double team, and when Randall turns, Fred's right on top of him. Randall panics and tries to unload the ball in a hurry, but the pass is off and it winds up being a turnover chased down by OG. And here you see Nerlens Noel screen for Rivers, and as he attacks, the Raptors are really packing the paint, and Lowry knows the next likely pass is to Knox, so he starts moving and is already there by the time Knox is able to corral it, so no open shot for him. And then on the drive, you see Norm shading over a bit, maybe doesn't have to help, but he's still able to step out and get a hand in Bullock's face on the three-point attempt. Pretty solid possession there for Toronto. And a nifty one here as Rivers pitches it to RJ Barrett and then cuts through. Terrence Davis is going to abandon Rivers and stay at the foul line to cut off a potential drive. And watch how seamlessly Norm leaves Barrett to switch on to Davis's man, finding him in the corner before the ball is even swung, and the Knicks wind up settling for a pretty tough three from Rivers, and even though they're able to get a second chance opportunity, not able to capitalize on it. coming up empty-handed on the possession. And on this one, you see Norm pressuring Barrett beyond the arc, really sitting on that left hand. Barrett gets to the free throw line, but finds a lot of Raptors defenders in the paint, and he kicks it out. And now Norm will stay at the foul line to cut off Knox's drive, and as Knox kicks it to Barrett, watch Terrence Davis cover a ton of ground to not just contest the shot, but get a piece of it too. The Knicks recover the ball, but with the shot clock winding down, they don't really have time to work it for a good shot, missing on another long three-point attempt. It yields yet another offensive rebound, but as Austin Rivers resets and then drives, Fred with the active hands to deflect the pass into the backcourt, and the Knicks wind up getting called for a 24-second violation. Really nice sustained pressure from the Raptors throughout that possession, even though their rebounding could have been a little bit better. And this is similar to an earlier play with Boucher, as Payton rejects the screen and Baynes has to try to deter the shot and the lob at the same time, but he drops a little too low. You'd probably like him to stay above the charge circle, and you see how his relative lack of length makes it a little bit easier to get a shot up over the top. And then on this one, as Fred goes to double team Randall, Randall pitches it out and we get a lightning quick attack from Payton, who beats VanVleet, and Baynes has just got a little flat-footed. And those are the kinds of plays where you see the drop off from a guy like Gasol or Ibaka, who probably would have been more on top of it and able to make that rotation in time. Here, as the ball goes to Bullock in the corner, Norm will run him off the three-point line, and Baynes isn't in awful position, but he could stand to be a step toward the ball since Mitchell Robinson is on the strong side, and the extra step wouldn't really put Baynes at a disadvantage, but with him so low, it's easy for Bullock to put the floater up over the top. And now with Len in Baynes' place, you see Elfrid Payton throwing some pretty nice passes to get easy buckets for the Knicks bigs. And Len's not doing anything too atrocious. His positioning's not bad here, but he just doesn't quite have the hands to disrupt these plays. And then on this one, he gets caught with his hands down by his sides for just a second too long, and the pass goes whizzing over his head. Another easy bucket for the Knicks. And now on this one, the Raptors with some pretty good initial defense, but as Austin Rivers gets the ball and drives to the right, I think Len just misses a rotation. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be dropping down with the ball while Norm drifts up to Randall, and Boucher stays by Noel and gets ready to sprint out to the corner, but instead Norm and Len both drift up to Randall, and now Boucher is left scrambling to try and bother the shot. Can't quite get it, but those are the sorts of mistakes that should get ironed out over time as Len gets used to the system, and it's not like Len was all bad. Here you see him step up quickly as OG gets beat off the dribble, cutting off the shot at the rim in favor of a Barrett 3, which he's not able to hit. And then as the Knicks work it around a bit until Barrett attacks off the dribble, you see Len make himself nice and big with his hands up and then use one to bother the pass enough that Noel can't quite corral it, and Lowry winds up deflecting the ball and causing a turnover. And then this one is just a good old-fashioned block as Barrett tries to attack the rim. Good verticality, good mobility, and nice work to keep it inbounds as well. Len with a few nice defensive plays to go with his 3 threes he hit in this one. And as the second half wore on, you saw the Raptors turn up the pressure. Here the Knicks are just trying to get it to Randall, but Johnson with the denial gets a deflection and it winds up going out of bounds off Randall's fingertips. Good work by Johnson creating that turnover out of nothing. And here, as Randall tries to dribble into the post, you see him turn his head and Fred pounces on the opportunity, aggressively attacks, gets the strip, and gets fouled by Randall as he takes it away. And if you're a post player with any sort of a shaky handle, VanVleet will absolutely make your life a living nightmare. And now the Knicks swing the ball to Knox in the corner. Boucher runs out at him, but instead of jumping, like I'm sure you've seen him do, he stays under control so that he can stay in the play. And at the same time, OG is staying glued to Randall, able to poke a hand in and deflect the ball out of bounds. And then on the ensuing inbound, the ball finds Randall again. He hits OG with a pump fake and he bites, but Boucher is waiting right behind and again doesn't even jump, just gets a hand up to contest the shot, and that's the kind of discipline that's going to help Boucher stay on the floor this season. And now as Randall passes to Rivers and Norm closes right out to his body and then switches with OG on the Randall screen, and the Knicks will work it around a little bit now, and as Bullock swings it to Rivers, you see OG gamble for a steal and miss, but watch how VanVleet steps up as Boucher slides over to cut off the shot at the rim. It gets kicked out, swing pass, and now Norm with the flyby, which isn't ideal. And as the shot goes up, look at the way VanVleet gets his body right into Randall, boxing him out, and Randall actually winds up getting called for a loose ball foul on the rebound. Great sustained effort and rotations again from Toronto on that one. And as we got deeper into the fourth quarter, the Raptors kept the pressure up, trying to keep the ball on the perimeter and contest shots as well as they could. And with the Knicks going ice cold from deep, they really didn't have much success opening up driving lanes and wound up settling for a lot of jumpers from weaker shooters, and ultimately it proved to just be too much to overcome. With just a few minutes left in the game and a solid lead, you see Boucher just swallow up the shot attempt on the low block, and then Kyle Lowry deflects the ensuing inbound and then finds VanVleet on the fast break to put the Raptors up 20, and that would be the ball game. The Raptors go on to win this one 100-83, their first win of the season. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please consider supporting my Patreon for whatever amount you can. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and let me know what you thought of the Raptors defense in the comments.